model car fans, welcome to the Muscle Car Modeler. My name is Raul, and this week I'm going to feature a product here that I use quite a bit, and you've actually seen on the channel before, and it's been in a few of my videos, but not fully sponsored like this video is. This video is sponsored by Super Clean and Everything, and they sent me some products here and approached me. It was kind of interesting to get that email. I get them from time to time. I'm really not looking for sponsors or really, going after that. But it's always flattering and always cool. And sometimes you get ones that just don't make any sense. So they approached me and said, hey, we've got some products. Some people use it in your industry and we don't know if you're familiar with it. And I'm like, I'm a car nut. I know your product. I use it quite a bit. So like I've shown, you've seen it in videos and some of the other products, but you guys know I've got my old cars and I've got my fun cars and my daily drivers. I've got a 99 S10 Extreme that's in the past year. The tranny went out, I lost third gear in it. So I got another tranny from a recycling yard and it was dirty. So I used this stuff and squirted it and degreased it and got it cleaned up and put it in the car, along with popping out a couple of seals and replacing them as well. And I used that to actually clean the spots off the driveway because my Dodge Diesel has a couple of drips. Matter of fact, right now it's leaking power steering fluid and I need to replace those hoses. So, those cars, they drip on the driveway. My HOA, I got to have them cleaned up. So I use the degreaser and the spray for that, or even sometimes just pour a little bit on that and scrub it with a brush. So I'm familiar with that product, and I even use it for cleaning models and stripping paint, which I'm going to do on this video. So we're going to be doing some of that. But I'm not familiar with the brand new foaming spray degreaser. So I'm going to be interested in trying that, spraying that on either one of the diesel, especially after doing the power steering hoses. So doing that. And then this all-wheel cleaner. I'm not familiar with that one either. So I'll give that one a try and check it out. But my S10 Extreme has 4-wheel disc brakes. They're not the stock stuff. And I use red stop pads, which have a lot of carbon in them. So they tend to black out my wheels pretty good with carbon dust and require cleaning constantly. So I do clean it, so I'll be interested in trying that and see how that compares. My wheels are chrome plated, so I don't have any issues with cleaners on that, but there's a lot of cleaners that can't be used on aluminum, especially if they're machined aluminum versus a clear coat aluminum finish. But there are different products for that. Chevelle has rally wheels on it, which those clean really well, but I don't drive that car that much and I wash it often. But my dailies get a little bit neglected. So it'll be interesting, trying those two products. So it's nice to get the samples and everything. So thank you, Super Clean, for that. And also, they bribed me with a hat and a shirt, which Ryan immediately took the hat, but he loves it. That's what he likes, hats, and I'm not much of a hat person myself. But anyway, we'll get farther into the video and we'll show, what I do as far as using this product and the model kits and stripping the paint off of these bodies. So this one, it's an original 69 and I need to strip the paint, but it's kind of a bit of a glue bomb. So it'll be interesting, with the interior glued in as well as it actually is, and the windshield in there. So I know it doesn't affect the plastic. I've got, my 67 Impala and then also my 69 Cougar that's painted. So I'll strip both of those. So here's some 3 vintage original kits to strip the paint off. But I've used this stuff and I trust it and everything and haven't had any issues with it. So we'll get right into that. So let me pause the camera, get repositioned, and we'll get right into it. All right, jumping right into it here. I got 3 candidates here that we're going to be jumping around and having a little bit of fun with here. This one is a real recent purchase, 69 Cougar Annual. I ended up with 2 of these purchased off of eBay, and this one, like the other one, pretty much not built, but the body has been painted, and don't know when it happened, but it was obviously sprayed right on the box. Real light coats and everything, so kind of some hints right there that this should strip off fairly easily. So we'll put that aside, and I've got the hood, the front valance are painted, and both sides of it, it's almost like it's molded in this color. But it looks like it's very thin. It's not sprayed on really thick. So it'll be interesting to see how this one strips compared to the others. And then the body, I mean, it's got some box wear where it's rubbed through the paint right there. But no work's been done to this, but I mean, nice even coats on the inside and outside. So I've used this stuff before and it'll strip it like right down to the white. Sometimes the paint etches into the plastic, but this one's really thin. You can't see any buildup. So it's going to be interesting on this one. The other one here is the 67 Impala SS Sport Coupe. And this one, I got this way also. And the paint on this is definitely much thicker and sparkly, but it's not on both sides. There's no primer on either one of these two. But with it being smooth and everything, I don't think there's going to be any kind of etching problems. I'm pretty sure this is going to strip off very fast. So it'll be very interesting to see how this goes. And it kind of makes me think that it was on an aerosol can or something, because there's no overspray there. So I wonder if that's where the cap was. But don't know when this was painted, because this is an original 67 kit. And it was probably done fairly new. So this will be interesting to see as well. The rarer one, or the funner one that's going to be interesting, is this one, my 69 Coronet RT convertible. Now, I don't know when this one has been done. They've done some putty work in here because there's usually a cutout, so they smoothed all that out. I do see evidence of putty in other spots and sink marks, and some of this is going to be interesting, as I don't know when this one was redone, because it has been redone. It is an original convertible body, but it's not the convertible windshield. I think this is from like a 70 Coronet kit, that when that came out in the 90s, that they grafted this in and cut it into a convertible, because this is a convertible boot and everything on the underside tells me this was a convertible kit originally. But it's been reworked and redone, so it's going to be interesting on what happens here when it gets in there. Now, I've had Super Clean not do anything to windows, so I'm not too worried about windows. I really don't expect to have to save any of this as far as the windshield frame goes. I'll probably cut another one from the recently released 68 Coronet RT convertible. Either I'll use a windshield and frame from that and graft it into this one, or even the 69 GTX convertible, which I do have body and glass for that. I can graft that in here as well. But this body has a little bit of a twist to it, so it'd be really interesting on this paint. So another factor here too is this is my Tupperware tub. It's plastic, and plastic doesn't affect it. And this has been used many times. You don't have to get rid of that stuff. It can be used over and over and over again. Matter of fact, in my opinion, I usually change it out by this point. You can really see the paint in there as I stir it up, mix it, and look at that. When I tilt it on its side, you can see all the sediment right there, and it's starting to drip. So I don't normally use this inside the house, but my table has contact paper on it to protect it, and I use an old toothbrush to help scrub it and get it going. So it's going to be fun. So I'm going to use the old stuff, and since they're different paints, I'm going to start with the hoods. We'll throw the hoods in there. Also, I use it to degrease resin parts as well. So any of the model kits that have mold release on them, or any kind of quick wash, this stuff is pretty potent and pretty fast. So it works really great on that. So I'll just dip it, leave it in for a minute or not, and wash it off, and then go rinse it off in the sink, or I'm usually in the backyard, and I'll rinse it off that way. But with this stuff, make sure you use gloves, because this stuff, it will take the oils out of your hands and make your skin itchy and everything. And I've actually got a couple of scratches and cuts on my hands, and those really don't like this stuff at all. So definitely don't get them in any kind of cuts. Protect your hands, cover them up. These are nitrile. Well, these are latex. I have latex and nitrile. I don't have any problems with either gloves with this particular product. And just don't get it on the inside. But if you do, then wash your hands, clean your gloves and whatnot. So let's move some of this stuff off to the side, and we'll see how this reacts. So like I said, this is due for time to change out, but since it's old, I'm kind of going to leave it that way, and we'll see how it does on these parts. So the first thing I do is just basically toss them in and let some time go by. So, you know, the reaction doesn't happen right away, but sometimes you check on it in 15 minutes or a half an hour and see where it goes. So I think I'll do that. I'll give it like a half an hour, and we'll pull it out and check out the status. So there'll be a little bit of pause here, and let some of this action happen without really doing anything yet. So, and then we'll work on these as well. So they'll be kind of fun to toss these in here. That one's a little bit long, may not fit in this very well, but yeah, it is what it is. But this is just what I have. If you got a container, great stuff, but we'll let this sit and let it do its thing, and I'll be right back. All right, so it's been a half an hour, and I can already see one of the hoods is floating and foaming a little bit, which gives me an idea on how some of this is going to go. So let's take it out and see what we got here. And some of this debris is just the stuff that's in there. Okay, I can feel it's just a little gummy. So it's just barely starting to do something to that. So we can already see some of the plastic poking through and some of that. So yeah, let's find another hood here. Okay. All right, you see it's definitely taking some of the paint off slowly. I mean, it's barely been in there for half an hour. And let's see. One more hood. Here's the green one. And let's see. Where's the valance panel? Okay. I don't really see anything going on with that yet, so this. So this is the sediment. Scrubbing gently, a little worried about splatter getting everywhere. All right, so for basically the first half hour, it's barely starting to etch into the paint and do anything. So we'll give it some more time here while I take my gloves off and clean up some of this and some of the drips here that are on my table. Got a couple on this body. I'm going to leave them just to see what happens. But we will give this a few hours now and see what next. All right, we let it sit overnight, and I put the lid on it just to keep anything from getting in it, my cat or my son. All right, so let's that doesn't seem like it's doing anything. Let's see. This is starting to work loose. No putty there. For some reason, I thought there was going to be some putty there. Okay, that's definitely needs to soak longer, but it's definitely getting it. Let's see, where's the other hood? Oh. Okay, that one took it right off without really any effort on that one. But the other two are definitely taking some effort. All right. So that being the case, we'll let the others soak, give it some more time. But let's put that in there like that, see what happens. And we'll let it do some more soaking. Well, here we are, home on my lunch hour, just checking it out and seeing how it went. As I really haven't touched it, and it's just been roughly 4 hours, so you can see right there. I'll flip this over, but let's check the hoods. If I get the hoods out from under here. Here's one. There's the other one. And then we'll let that fall in there. Actually, since the front's done, now it's time to just dunk the rear. Oh yeah, look at that hood. Okay, set that down for a second. Whatever's on this Cougar, definitely a stronger paint. It is coming off slowly. I'll let that keep soaking. Leave that. Let's see how this is. definitely starting to blister, so. All right, that's kind of fun to look at, but check out the blistering there while it's dripping. We'll let that keep soaking, and I'll come back and check on all of this a little later, but we'll let that do its thing. Let it soak for some more hours, and I'll come check it after work. All right. Well, a couple more hours have gone by, but let's see. Nice little stripe because it hasn't, that's the part that didn't get submerged, but that's okay. Look, all the paint's been completely removed. Set that aside for a second. This is really taking some effort. Oh, it's thick. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's going to be interesting. Okay, well, I'm going to do this. Get as much of this as possible. But let's have a little bit more fun. Got another tub here. Let's start submerging this with some fresh stuff to see how much different that acts, and let this soak for a few hours. Like that's nice and clean, which is nice. We'll let, let's see, how quickly is that gonna, I'm sure that's not gonna take long at all. Big difference between the well used with a lot of sediment already in it, but you know, it's still working pretty good, versus let's see how well the new one is going to work. We'll see how quickly it breaks down some of this stuff, and be interesting on this one. I know it won't attack the windows, but you know, you guys are going to see, and we'll see how much it does of this one. So this one's going to take a little bit of while. As I've been seeing with the hoods, the green's really thick, so I'm wondering how thick it is on this one as well. Where this one's really thin, but it's strong, whatever paint this is. So rubbing alcohol may actually work better on it, because sometimes when I'm having trouble with this stuff, I'll switch to rubbing alcohol, 91% rubbing alcohol, or isopropyl alcohol. It usually takes it off pretty well too. So we'll let it soak for a little bit and check back on them again. Okay, well, it's been a couple more hours, and of course this is coming off fast, so with like no effort. So Got a little bit left of this one to do, but let's see. This is starting to let go, but it's taken quite a bit of effort to, or soaking, I should say, to really break this one down, but it's coming along. We'll see how this compares into the newer stuff. Let's see. When I see this happening, it tells me it's having a hard time going through the paint, but it's getting under it, where it's all bubbling the way it is, that it's getting under it. So, yeah. So I can scrape it with my fingernail. All right. Well, I'm gonna let the side soak on that one. This one I tore a hole in the glove, but we'll let the side soak on this. I'll get those finished, and then I'll end up putting this in there. But I'm really gonna let this stuff soak for quite a bit, so it's probably gonna be a full day before I get back to this. So stay tuned. Well, while I wait for the Super Clean to strip the paint off of those model bodies, let's clean this engine compartment a little bit and give this can here a try, and we'll see how she turns out. Sprayed it down pretty good, and let's let it soak and do its thing, and we'll rinse it off. Definitely a nice little quick clean here. Sprayed it all off, and definitely much nicer and cleaner. Be much easier for me to change out these batteries, because I gotta change out the Optimas on both sides, because they're telling me that they're old and having a little bit of trouble starting the truck. But that's just some of the stuff I got to do today. And those power steering lines are leaking too that go to the Hydro Boost. So I got a little bit of work to do, but this stuff cleaned it up pretty nice. It'd be much easier for me to work on and get less dirty while I'm doing it. All right, well, it's been 24 hours, so I put this on the sides a little bit and cleaned them off, but you saw how this was just coming apart. The paint just coming right off of it. So you can see a little bit of a satin finish in it, but that'll take to the primer really well. And this is looking great. So it and the hood came out very nice. So, all right, that's pretty much done. The others are taking much longer. So threw that in there and let that sit for quite a bit. And let's see. Yeah, so that's coming along. I am pressing a little bit harder than I normally do, but it's splattering. So we'll give that some more time to soak. This has been in here a good chunk of the day, but check out this hood. Let's see here. It's avoiding me. I can feel it. All right. Flip that over. That's going to definitely get some more time to soak. But this hood, definitely just coming right off now. And it really is luck of the draw on whatever was used on some of these and how quickly it will strip off. Using my fingernail and it's just kind of popping the chunks off. All right. I've had some that are thick like this that don't want to come off, and I've used toothpicks and just to push it, especially if it's in the groove or whatnot. I've done that. That's works pretty good, but this is still stripping pretty good. Let's just keep working on it. And sometimes these take a little while. Like this is a couple of days into this one. This has really been sitting for 20. Oh, the interior's falling out. Okay, so the glue letting go on the interior. Where's the dash? Must have fell in. Yeah, this looks like it's broken. Oh yeah, it's broken. Definitely be careful with that, but it's broken. All right, be gentle with that, but let it keep stripping. Let's see. Seats are still really glued in there, but this is letting go. I don't think this white is paint. I think that's the actual plastic. Yeah, okay. Well, okay. While that's dripping, let's see, I saw the dash. Yeah, here's the dash. Normally I don't really care, and I rinse them both off in the same one, but since I got one that's dirty, really dirty, I'm just rinsing in that one. Because I know I'm going to be cleaning this one out, so not too concerned about. Okay, put that back in there. Let's see. It's interesting how it looks. It's almost like coral. Oh. Not much really holding this windshield in. Let's see this. That's still glued pretty good. All right, it's scrubbing off. It's taking a little bit more scrubbing than I would like, but that's okay. It's still coming off. But I just have to keep working on it. That is stripping, so we'll flip that over and let it soak, but I'm going to give it another day or so, and I'll scrub some more of this here, but this really needs some time to soak, so I'm going to let it do that. Let's see. That one's working slowly. So, okay. We'll give it some more time to soak and we'll check on it again. All right, well, we've given it a little bit more time to soak here, and these are proving to be a little bit more of a challenge, and there's just going to need more time to soak here, but it is slowly coming off. But even this toothbrush is having a hard time. If I push a little harder, it comes, but I'm getting a little nervous because this is how things tend to crack or break if I push a little too hard. But if I do a little bit at a time and then let it soak and do some more and do some more, it is coming off. But being that I don't want this video to turn into hours of me scrubbing, editing, scrubbing, and editing, I'll end up doing a good chunk of this off camera. But we'll keep working on it. And it's, you know, soaking time is taking a lot longer. This one is doing the same thing. It's working. It's eventually coming off, but it's just a real stubborn paint. But it is coming off. But I just do a little bit at a time, move on to it, a little bit of a time. But I already know because of the amount of time these are taking to soak, I'm not going to get this video done in the timely manner that I had planned on it, so I can launch it on a certain date. But that's how some of these builds go. So it is slowly coming off. But I just need to keep letting it work, soak, move on, work, soak, move on. So I'm going to pause this again, do some more scrubbing and letting it soak, and I'll update it a little bit more. But I do need to get some other videos and some other things done for you guys as well, instead of focusing strictly on this. So it is what it is. That's kind of how these projects go. Kind of wish they all stripped as nicely as that 67 Impala SS, but that's not how it works. But it is just a test of patience, no big deal. But we'll continue on with this. Well, here we are, back at it. This is turning into one of those videos that is taking me way longer than planned. But that's how some of these actually go. Some of them strip really well, some don't. Plus I managed to misplace my toothbrush, the one I was using. This is another one I had laying around. But as you can see, this one has been scrubbed really good. I still got some on the inside. The tail panel is really, really good. So I got a lot of it scraped off of this. So, but this has been so stubborn that I basically had to use it this way too, where it's thick and it was getting underneath. So I'd scrape it with something like this and pull it off. And you can see the brown plastic on this. So it's scraping off. And this is working really well, especially when it comes to getting into some of the areas like this or in the door jambs. You know, it's taking it off, but it's being a bit more of a challenge than it should be. But, which is good. This is good for you guys because the last ones I did stripping really weren't that big of a struggle. But this one's being that way. But because of it, though, you can really get to see. I can get in here and use this to get the Dodge letters, the paint out of there, some of these areas, and just popping it right off. But I've been using that, and I've also got these, which are really good for getting in there, and especially the jam areas like that. Because this one is really not stripping as easily. It's literally, I have to pick at it. So this is working really good for that kind of stuff. Now these, I got them a long time ago. They're like clay carving. I know Hobby Lobby has them. I've seen them in there. Not 100% sure where I got them. But I've had them a long time, but they turn out to be great for this. So you can kind of see where the primer on this is thick and it's scraping off. But even getting in here, the cowls. I got my thumb behind it to help reinforce it. So I get this stuff off here and get even in the wiper blades. So I want to get this stuff stripped really good. This has definitely been one of the more challenging ones. But it is stripping. And most of the time, I'm not in a hurry and I don't mind this stuff. But because I was in a bit of a schedule for you guys and trying to get it done in a timely manner, that was not working out. This one really wanted to soak. And same thing with the other one as well. Just really wanted to soak. So anyway, there's that. And there's definitely some putty and stuff in here. If you're wondering why I'm not really concerned about stripping this, you can see where it was spliced in. And the glue is actually starting to let go. I think this side was doing it, or was it the other side? This side's letting go. I'm going to splice in a whole nother windshield frame from one of the other convertibles into this one. So that's why I'm not too concerned about it. But getting all of this and some of these areas like this one, just get that to scrape off. So this one's pretty much done. But yeah, it's this one's been a challenge. And even on the inside, it just scrapes right off. But it's stuck enough where the toothbrush is having trouble actually doing it. I really have to push hard with the toothbrush to get it to go. So that one's virtually done, but it's got a little bit more to go. And I had the same thing going on with this one. And when I mentioned, you know, anything that will go wrong in something, I caught the back here and broke that. But got one whole side done. And this side was going well. And it's the same thing where this will pull it right off. And this is doing the same, but you really got to push into it. And then that's how I caught that other thing, is it slipped off and it caught it. So it is taking it off. It's just doing it very slowly. You just got to be very patient with it. And then anywhere where the emblems are, you know, these toothpicks are really good about just getting in there and pulling the paint right off of it. So that's kind of definitely a different way of doing it, but you can see it's coming right off. But it's really had to soak, and it just doesn't want to come off as easily as I want it to. Look at this one. I go right around the wheel opening molding. But there's that. Let's see. Do I have any hoods left in here? Nope. I got... Oh. There's that piece I got to glue back on, but I'll let that in there. So you can see how much of a challenge this one is actually being. And this, I believe, is like some sort of bamboo or something. Not really sure what it is. I've had it a long time. And it worked really good for this kind of stuff. And even shaping the two-part epoxy putty when you do, some of that stuff. But yeah, this one is stripping. Just way longer than I wanted to. Oh, and there's a couple seats in here. Let's see. This is soft bristle. Just really have a medium bristle. That just happened to be the toothbrush that I had. Really shaking the table now. These are Revell Boss 302 from the 2013 kit. Oh, the front's really starting to let go. I probably just need to let that soak more for it to really start to etch. But those haven't been soaking very long. Not compared to the two bodies. Let's see what the other one looks like. Yeah, so some of it's starting to come off. That just needs to sit there and soak a little longer. And then same with this stuff, but I think I'm gonna finish that here as you see what's going on and how far it's come along. Needs a little bit more cleaning up, of course, but that gives you an idea. Some of the challenges you can have while I'm doing this. And you guys, some of them peel really easy. Some of them, like I had a couple of challenge ones here, which is great. So I'll show you how to deal with those and be patient with them and try not to break them. Like I broke the rear valance on this one, which for me really isn't a big deal. You can fix that. It's easy to fix. I have another body, so I mean, this really isn't that important to me. This one is. But this one was just kind of like, okay, thought it was going to strip really easy and be no problem. But it was one of those that was quite the opposite of what I was expecting. But that's how they go sometimes. So you guys, I hope this was helpful and everything. And thanks Super Clean for their product and samples and everything. And, sponsoring the channel a little bit there. I do appreciate it, you guys. And thank you guys for your comments, your likes, subscriptions, and shares and everything. You have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you next time.